Hey yo guys, how's it going? Tally here, and today let's talk Dark Magician. You might not know, but I absolutely love this archetype, and for the fact that we're getting new support in the Battle of Chaos set in like 9 months time, I am hyped. So we're going to do a little bit of tier 1 potential testing where I'm just going to go through some games, talk about the pros of the deck, the cons of the deck, and tell you, is the deck got tier 1 potential? As always, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to comment your thoughts down below. I know some of you don't like Dark Magician and some of you don't like that it's getting your support. Feel free to tell me about that. As always, let's dive in. Alright, so I'm going to start off with a game against Dragon Link where, look at that hand, that's a pretty decent hand, and they're going first. So let's check out what I've got first and foremost. So, my hand is Dark Magical Circle, Prosperity, Ash, Prosperity, and Magician's Souls. Not an awful hand. Not an awful hand, but let's see how this plays out. So you're going to start off with the Chaos Space. Of course, you Ash the Chaos Space, and then they have no follow-up play. So I'll take that. Going to start off with the Prosperity, and we're going to dig a little deeper. So I'm going to go for the Prep here, right? Because Prep allows us access to the new Ritual monster, and it's kind of busted. However, Prep does lose to Ghost Ogre. I did not know that. However, this is fine. We're going to Dark Magical Circle, it's just going to grab us a Dark Magician, deck Vin a little bit. We're going to Special a Souls, Normal a Souls, make a Verte, Verte make the best boy Dragoon, and we're just going to have to pass there after we deal a little bit of damage. Although, they've got some plays. Alright, so they're going to start off with a World Legacy Guard Dragon, bringing back the Synchron, Summoning Tracer, into Romulus, triggering Exceed. Now, I sat here for a good while and I was like, right, what can actually happen here? Because if I let Exceed resolve now, then I can lose because they can just access Kotokrami. So I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do. They're going to grab Ravine. I realise they've got no discard, so they've got no Ravine access. We're going to negate the Exceed, and they're going to hit into Verte and realise that they've lost. Because next turn, we'll have the Pot of Prosperity. We've got a Dragoon that's getting beefier, and we've got more and more plays. Yeah, writing's kind of on the wall. Sorry, Dragon Link. Let's go to game 2 though. So game 2, they're going first again, and their hands, again, not too bad. They've got the Chaos Space access, Cosmic Cyclone, Rocket Recharger, Ash Blossom, and World Legacy Guard Dragon, so they've got some combo pieces. I have a Ghost Spell, Illusion of Chaos, Secrets of Dark Magic, which I'm still iffy on, a Souls, and the new Timaeus, Dragon of Destiny, which is a pretty beefy boy. So let's see how this one plays out. Alright, so my opponent's going to start. I don't have something to stop the Chaos Space, so I'm a little bit screwed. They're going to go White Dragon, fetch the Black Dragon, fetch the Striker Dragon, and the Boot Sector, and I'm like, okay, this isn't great. They're going to Chaos Space, and they're going to draw into the Monster Reborn, which, further, not great. They're going to be able to go ahead and continue to get more. They've got the Dragon Ravine to send the Absoluter. Absoluter's going to get them Rocket Recharger, and I'm like, I am screwed. Because now they've got this, they've got access to a bunch of negates, and I don't really think I've got much of a follow-up play. So they've got the Savage, okay? It's not as if I have a hand trap to fight against, but then I see they end on Savage, Cosmic Cyclone, and I have all of this. Now the beauty of Illusion of Chaos, by the way, I've drawn the Red Eyes Fusion. If they let this resolve, I'm going to put Red Eyes Fusion back. Okay, so let's see how this one plays out. I'm going to Illusion of Chaos, they're going to Ash it. Not great. I'm going to go ahead and Magician's Souls, bringing out a Dark Magician to force them into the spheres. I'm quite proud of that play. Next, I go Secrets of Dark Magic, and they're going to negate that. That's A-okay. I'm going to Timaeus. Alright, Timaeus is now going to fuse into a Dragoon. Dragoon is going to go ahead and pop the Borrow Sword, and I'm going to pass. They have, well, still plays Monster Reborn. That's going to get belled. I bell the hell out of that. Then they're going to Boot Sector launch, and I'm like, no, please don't. And then they're going to Crystron Halki Fibrax. I do negate the wrong card, I think, but we'll see how this plays out. I don't think there's much they can do here. They get the Rocket Synchron with the Borrow Savage, which is going to make the Hot Red, and then they're like, oh, Hot Red can't be over Dragoon. I've negated a card. So actually, no matter what I did there, that was probably the right play. So it's my turn, I draw, I've got Eternal Soul, that doesn't matter, I'm going to go ahead and pop this bad boy, do a little bit of damage, go Battle Phase, and swiftly 2-0 Dragon Link. How the mighty have fallen. Okay, and here we're going to do a quick single against Salamangreat, because I'm going to be honest, they actually scooped after this, they like just completely surrendered. So, let's see how this one goes. They're going to start off, and they actually kind of have the, well, just the most absolutely nuts hand that Salamangreat can have. So they've got the Gazelle access, they've got the Balinks, they've got the counter trap, they've got pretty much everything. They're going to relink the Sunlight Wolf, and that's going to get them the counter trap. They're going to have the Jaguar, which is going to get them more Gazelle access, and they are ending with Gazelle in hand, 2 hand traps and a counter trap. You're probably thinking, Tally, how are you going to win against this? Let's see. I'm going to draw Red Eyes Fusion because I'm just that good at the game. Soul Servant, they're going to hit it with a bell. I'm going to do another one, they're going to hit it with a counter trap. Okay, that's totally fine. I'll say, do you know what, Dark Magical Circle, they hit it with the Ash. And I'm like, oh man, I guess I'll just have to summon Dragoon. Of course, we're going to go ahead and plus a little bit more. Grab that Timaeus. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pop. We're going to do a little bit of battle damage after we stop the Gazelle, because I don't want that card in rotation. And I've got a card for next turn to negate. But realistically, what are Salamangreat going to do? They have a choke point of Transcode Talker. I'm going to negate that. So they just try and do like regular Salamangreat plays. They're going to get the Roar, and now they realise, wait a minute, I can't get over Dragoon. So they're going to scoop right about now. Let's get back to a match though. Okay, so for our second match, we're going to go up against Dogmatica and YUGIOH. I'm going to go first this time, and I'm going to go ahead and just absolutely wreck face. Prep into the Ritual. Ritual's going to go ahead and grab me a Rod. Rod's going to go ahead and grab me a Circle. And I'm going to stack the new field spell to the top of the deck with Soul Servant. This is going to get me, well, it's going to get me the new field spell, which will get me an Eternal Soul, which is a good card. Timaeus is going to send that field spell because it's no longer useful, making my Verte live, getting my Dragoon, ending off with 1 Dark Magician in graveyard to get another draw for Dragoon, and we've got the Ash. So they're going to go ahead and Nadir. I'm not happy with that, I'm going to Ash it. They're going to go ahead and Terraform, and I'm like, okay. So it's normal summon Alistair the deck. But they don't normal summon Alistair, they set Shadow Hedgehog. They try an Ecclesia, I say no to Ecclesia, and they pass. I'm going to go ahead, Eternal Soul, get back my Dark Magician, banish that, and then we're just going to win. Alright, but let's play with our food a little. We're going to go ahead, we're going to get the Rod back, we're going to Chaos into another Souls. By the way, I'm only doing this to flex. I already won 2 turns ago. Souls is going to send a Dark Magician Gyro, and we're going to go ahead into access code for 8,300 damage. Going to draw a couple of cards, by the way, just because I can, you know, just because I can. And now we win. So let's take it to game 2 of this match. Okay, and for game 2 of this matchup, hands looking pretty similar for the opponent, but for me it's looking pretty gosh darn dire. If I didn't have the Red Eyes Fusion, I would be absolutely laughing. However, I do have the Red Eyes Fusion. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to absolutely Hail Mary and just pray that they don't have a hand trap, and it turns out they don't. So hello Dragoon, gonna end with 4 cards in hand. In Ash Blossom they have the Nadir, well, we've seen this one before. They're gonna go ahead and Terraforming next, and we've seen that one too. What we haven't seen though is an incoming Shadow Fusion, to which I was like, oh. They're going to send the Construct, and Construct's going to do what Construct does. It's going to send things. Shadow Beast's going to get them a draw, going to be able to search out another Shadow. Look at that tasty double Alistair in hand. They're going to go ahead and Ecclesia because, well, they're just really good at drawing. I say no. However, they still do have a bunch of cards in hand, so they're going to Alistair, normal summon Alistair. Going to go ahead, grab that Invocation, and they're going to make a Mechaba. Mechaba is going to go ahead and be kind of scary because it's a negate. They're going to go ahead Construct, trying to say, I'll destroy you. And no, they won't. Dragoon has none of it. So now they're going to double Alistair the Mechaba to get over the Dragoon of Red Eyes. Oh my good lord. And I have 6,500 life points left. I have 2 cards in hand, and really that's not doing anything. So I'm going to go Rod. And they immediately shotgun it. So I say, okay, let's magicalize that fusion. Hello Dragoon. Here comes the boy. We're going to pop that. We're going to pop that. And then we're going to go ahead, deal a little bit of direct damage, leaving them with next to nothing. And I'm thinking at this point, man, they've really screwed themselves. They're going to Shadow Fusion, hit me with the Floor, and I'm like, okay, got nothing to negate. Going to summon out a Winda, they're going to Shadow Skomata and Beast, get a couple of cards, get that Effect Veiler, get that Schism. They're going to get another Alistair, and then they're going to try and beef up their Winda to beat over. I'm having none of it. So we start my turn, and I just say, do you know what? Pop. And now, we've swiftly 2-0'd Dogmatica and YUGIOH too. How nuts is this deck, man? And this match, we're still up against the Shadow variant, but this time with the new Despia archetype. Let's see how their turn plays out. Our hand could be better and could be worse. They're going to go ahead and hit us with the Albert, the Aluber. and they're going to hit us with the Stigmatica or the Branded Theatre. Going to go into a Construct, summoning out a monster in face down defense position with the Beast, and they're going to send a Schemata, which is going to go ahead and send a Fusion. They're going to go ahead, Gravity Controller, I say no to that, hit them with a Ghost Spell, and then they pass with the Shadow Schism set. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to Magician of Chaos, go ahead and grab me a Timaeus, I'm going to go ahead and grab Dark Magical Circle, and then they immediately shotgun the Schism, which, by the way, the wrong play. So from the Schism I go ahead and I get the Eternal Soul with the Field Spell, I beat over the Schism with Timaeus, they go ahead, grab that Shadow Fusion, I'm like, I ain't scared. And then I fuse into what only? Dragoon. From here I'm just going to go ahead and pop Albert, because I don't know if it really does anything and I don't really want it on field. Then they're going to go ahead and they're going to hit with another Albert. Great, hate to see it. So I'm going to Eternal Soul it, they're going to hit me with the Schism, I'm going to have to negate that because they could just send Dragoon, and then I'm going to go ahead and banish the face down because I'm like, do you know what, I don't know what they have, so that was a mistake though. They did have the Shadow Fusion, they had to think about this one. I think they thought they could target Dragoon, which they couldn't. They send the Aerial, which does absolutely nothing, and then from here Eternal Soul's going to not blow up Dragoon, they're going to Verte, they're going to App Cologne to get back the Schism, then they're just hitting buttons at this point, they're summoning things, and now they scoop. I don't know what was going on there. I don't know if I even deserved that one, but I'm taking it. Okay, so here we're up against Virtual World. Now, I do want to warn you, this replay does contain absolute stonks, absolute huge brain plays. Honestly, I don't know how I come up with it, but let's just see it. So they have, I don't know, is this a decent hand? They definitely have some sort of combo. So they're going to Kowloon, getting the Chuche, and then they're going to start popping off. They've got the yellow one. I just decide to Ash because I still don't really know Virtual World. Yellow's going to send Driver, summon itself, make a Beatrice. That seems fine. They're going to send another Trap, and that Trap's going to get back this. But look at this. Look at this board. This is their end board. They have nothing. So, from here, I'm just going to say, right, you've got no hand traps and you've got nothing that stops Red Eye's Fusion. Beatrice, oh, it sends a King Long. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, Soul Servant. I'm going to go ahead and get the new Field Spell, they're going to pop that, and I'm like, okay, bit of a mistake on my end, I probably shouldn't have done that, but that's fine, I'm going to Soul Servant and draw it anyway! Oh, so here's what I do now, I start blasting, right? I just start blasting, and I'm thinking, how can I OTK? So I'm going to Magician of Chaos, or Illusion of Chaos, grabbing me the Magician Girl. Alright, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to activate Magician Salvation. I'm going to negate my own Magician Salvation, getting rid of Souls, my little baby boy, and I'm going to get boosted to 4k attack points. But I'm also going to get boosted another 2k, dealing just over lethal. OTKing with Dark Magician. I love to see it. Alright, so normally I would try and keep a replay like this out of it, but I think what they do is actually really, really funny. So they're going to go first again, of course, because they got OTK'd by Dark Magician. They're going to go ahead with the King Long, where they're going to go ahead with the Lily. They're going to send the Nyan Nyan, I think it was. They're going to Desires, draw a couple of cards, and I'm like, okay, all this is fine. They're going to start synchroing into different things. So from here, they've got the Coral Dragon, and then Coral Dragon plus something else is going to make Zolkin. Now, here's where they mess up. Here's where they well and truly mess up, because they set, of all things, they set their Called by the Grave. They could have and should have set the Kowloon, but they've set the Called by the Grave. It can't be used this turn, so they're going to go ahead and Zolkin, and I'm going to say nope. And then they rage quit because they just made a really silly mistake. But realistically, what they're going to do here is they're going to set up a Crystal Wing, or potentially even a Dragoon of their own. But that Dragoon isn't playing through, you know, Magician's Rod and Circle and Illusion of Chaos, because they're just too good, man. They're just too good. I do feel a little bad, but it is what it is. And to round off today's video, I thought it'd be an interesting thing to just look at a quick mirror match. So we are going to go first. Our opponent has they actually have a pretty decent hand. They can do a lot with that. So I'm going to go ahead and prep. I'm going to get the Illusion of Chaos, which is going to get me Souls. By the way, absolute god combo. Because with the way the deck is built, you've got such high odds of opening up like either Eternal Soul or Circle or the Field Spell. So opening up these two guarantees you access to at least 2 interruptions on your opponent's turn, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for a deck like this which builds momentum, it's just enough. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and Rod, and Rod's going to get me Circle. Circle's going to go ahead and get me nothing, a whiffed. So I'm going to Souls. From here, I'm going to Soul Servant, stacking the, well, in fact, I'm going to summon the Dragoon first, the good boy. Gonna Soul Servant, stacking the new field spell to the top of the deck, and I'm going to draw 2 because I've got Dark Magician Girl in Grave. So now I have the Eternal Soul set, the Dark Magician in Graveyard, 2 hand traps plus discard fodder. By God, I'm just so nuts at the game. They're going to go ahead and Dark Magical Circle, and I say that's fine. They've whiffed also, and they're going to go ahead and Souls with the new Timaeus. They're going to now scoop because they realise if they go into Verte, I'm just going to Eternal Soul it, right? And they could then Harpy's Feather Duster my Eternal Soul, and I'll be like, damn. But I still have Dragoon, so I'm still going to like kill them next turn. So let's see how the game 2 goes here. And for our final game of the day, I'm going to show you what happens when I'm just too good. When I'm just too good at playing out weird situations. So again, our opponent is going to go first, and they're going to go ahead Souls, but they're going to summon the Dark Magician because they're going to hard make Dragoon. No Verte necessary. Got Salvation, which is pretty nice. That's going to get them the Eternal Soul. The Soul Servant's going to get them the Rod, and I say no because they have nothing to negate my Ash with. So they've got nothing. They've got no negates. They have a Dark Magician that's going to do nothing. I'm going to Salvation, I'm going to set my own Eternal Soul, I'm going to go ahead and send this good girl, summon this good boy, summon this good boy, going to send away a couple of these, draw 2 cards, going ahead and grab myself the goodest of girls. Verte, don't mind if I do, they're going to summon Dark Magician, I'm going to go ahead and pop it with Dragoon, and then OTK again. Well, I was gonna if they would actually, you know, let me. But that's okay, we take that win, because there was no way they were playing out of that. So let's take it to a deck profile now. Alright, so here's the deck profile now. One thing I want you to consider is I don't want you to take this as absolute gospel. I want you to kind of mess about and find what works for you. Here's the ratios though. I don't want to run any more than 4 bricks in this deck, and unfortunately I'm actually running like 5, 6. So, I've had to cut a Dark Magician, even though it does have the coolest start. I've cut Dark Magician at 2, and I've got the Red Eyes. Also got the Dark Magician Girl, which I haven't been playing before, but god damn, it's just too good with Soul Servant. Got the Triple Souls, got the Triple Rod, which again, I actually, for a while, didn't play Rod. I preferred the Blue Boy package, but gosh, that's just too good. Then we have the 2 Apprentice and the 2 Timaeus. Gonna be honest, there's no real point where I feel like I really needed 2 of these. I would maybe cut these down, maybe boost the prep ratios, but it is what it is. Then we have the 3 of the new absolute best boy. This card is just honestly insane. This card is so good. It essentially searches any monster in your archetype, which is a lot, by the way. You want souls, you got souls. You want rod, you got rod. You want an OTK, you got OTKs. You want to just put a beater on board that can fuse, you've got it. It's so good, right? So, and it puts away bricks. If you open up Red Eyes Fusion, you can put away Red Eyes Fusion with this because it returns a card to the top of the deck. How good is that? From there we then have a couple of hand traps. Effect Veiler is insane because it's a spellcaster tuner that works with Hulk and it works with Celine. It's just busted. Okay, love it. Also, actually quite good in the format right now. I didn't really get to play any Tri-Brigade this weekend, but, you know, it's also good against Tri-Brigade. 3 Ash Blossom because it just hits the most amount of decks, and 2 Ghost Spell because, by golly gosh, good card. Then we have free Soul Servant, free Rod, free Circle, free Salvation, which I started off not playing. I was like, it can't be that good. No, it really is that good, because it's one of the few cards that actively plus, and then you can use it for Souls fodder, so it's going to get like +1, and then you can like then use it for a draw, or you can use it for Timaeus. It is actually insane. The Red Eyes Fusion, the Secrets of Dark Magic, and the Magicalized Fusion, because there's nothing better than if they can't get out of your board, you just make another Dragoon. It's just so good. So yeah, these are necessary. And then I played 1 prep, because I'm like, do you know, 7 copies of Souls is kind of enough. But realistically, I would maybe cut one of these, play 8 copies of Souls, so like, still needs a lot of testing, right? But, you know, this and this are mixable. Play about. And then we have the 2 Eternal Soul. I'm begrudgingly playing 2. I feel like 2 can come up, and you know there's times where you draw 1, but you want to set 1 and save 1 in hand as like a discard fodder. So, I don't really want to play 2, but 2 seems just like kind of the right number, especially for those slower matchups, so I think that's fine, you know, it is what it is. And then for the extra deck, we've got 2 Dragoon, it's just the best card. We've got 2 not Dragoon, just not the best card. 1 new Fusion. Didn't really come up, but by god if it doesn't look cool, so I kept it in there anyway. 1 Link Rebo, 1 Spider, 1 Imduk, and 1 Relinquished Anima. These are for your Dark Magicians, these are for your level 1s like your Souls, and that really, never really came up. Like it can, it just didn't with me this weekend. 2 Verticas. Man, this deck isn't really missing a lot of extra deck space, like just go wild, make more Verti. A Hulk with a Selene, with a Unicorn and an access code talker. So realistically the way that this could go is you go Hulk into Selene, into access code talker, and even if you start with souls you could go into Link Karibo and then like have a tuner. So you could souls plus effect veiler or souls plus any of your hand traps really, which then go into Hulk, which summons an effect veiler, which goes into Selene, which you should have at least 3 spells in grave or on field, and then you get to summon back a spellcaster. Could even be your Dragoon if you want to negate, and then you can go ahead and make access code talker with 1, 2, 3 attributes, and it'll be 5300 attack, so you'll be able to beat over pretty much anything. And then you need really just like a Timaeus to finish off for game, or like a Dark Magician in graveyard if you've got Eternal Soul with the Apprentice Illusion. Yeah, so like you can break boards and go for game, or if you're just like Giga Brain Chad like me, you just summon Verti all the time, you make Dragoons and you OTK, and that is what it is. So that's what I'm feeling for the main deck and the extra deck. Again, like, go crazy with this, go absolutely mental, I don't care. This is the only necessary, like these 4 cards are the only necessary cards. Everything else really is just me messing about. And for the side deck, always play the side deck that matches your format at your locals or wherever you play, because I can't tell you what is like, what your meta is. Always side deck to your meta. This is just a generalised kind of like going second board breaking, or maybe a couple extra like traps going first. Anyway, let's take it to the outro. Guys, that is the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me absolutely destroy some Rogue and some tier 2 decks with Dark Magician. But let's answer the question, is this a tier 1 contender? Nah. Here's the problems with the deck. Everything requires a minus, right? Everything requires some sort of minus. At the very best you've got cards like Souls, but they're just 1-for-1 trades really. Like you don't really honestly actively plus that much until you get a little bit of momentum. Until you get Dark Magician and Gyro in the graveyard, you're not plussing off a Soul Servant, you're going like 1. Dark Magical Circle is a +1, but it's very specific, so it's very rarely an actual +1. And it's just kind of where I dislike the deck. Almost everything needs some sort of minus to achieve something, or it's not very good. Dragoon is like, you know, a minus for most decks, you know, they can afford to discard, but after doing like Timaeus or after having to summon with Apprentice Illusion Magician, you find that you're losing less and less cards. A good hand, you can leave yourself a couple of cards on field with a couple of cards in hand. Most hands, and these are for the games that, you know, I lost, which weren't good enough to actually show because it was really just bricking, right? It's a deck that runs 6 bricks and requires a hell of a lot of like -1s to actually play. Pair that with hand traps and the deck isn't tier 1 potential. However, I do think that the deck is so fun. I think that this deck is super cool. I've always loved Dark Magician, and I think for as much as people hate that it keeps getting support, if it gets like one more wave of support like this, then it is a deck that you can absolutely take to regionals and smash with. I reckon you could take over locals with this deck though. This deck's really fun. This deck's really fun. As always, if you like the video, give it a like. If you love it, give it a share and tell everyone you know about Team Tally today. If you have made it this far and you have not joined Team Tally, then please make sure to subscribe. As always, make sure to comment your thoughts down below. You have been amazing. I have been Tally. I will catch you all later. Bye.